Hey everyone, it's Ken with Ken's Creations. Well, now that my room remodel is done, I wanted to do my review on the Brother Scan and Cut. I got the Brother Scan and Cut about 2 weeks ago, and I've been using it for some projects and doing some test cuts on it, and so I wanted to do an introduction, the unboxing, let you know what comes with the machine, and then just do a few test cuts just to do an introduction, and then I'll do some more advanced features. So let's just go ahead and dive right in and show you the machine. I already take it out of the box, and as you can see, here is the machine. Now, the machine itself, this is the base model. This is what they consider the red model. There is 2 additional models up above. I do encourage you to go to Brother Scan and Cut's website to see which model is right for you. They have a purple model and a light blue model. The big difference is what comes with the machines. The base model comes with, of course, the machine, the basic accessories, but really the purple and the blue, you get more designs and more accessories. This design does not come with the pin set and does not come with additional mats and some accessories where the other ones do. So instead of going through all the details of what comes with what, go to Brother Scan and Cut. It's thebrotherusa.com and just hit Scan and Cut, and it will compare the different machines, and you can really see the differences because the prices do jump about $100 in between each machine. And the difference in colors is red, the next step up is purple, the next step up is the light blue. Alright, so this one here I got on Amazon. Here is the red. What you get is right out of the box you get the machine, which is a pretty basic machine. It's beautiful. It's got a nice drop down here, so a nice shield to protect the machine. Of course, you get the USB cable. Now in the back here, you'll see there's not much in the back on the machine. There's a spot for the USB, or excuse me, the power to go in. But if you notice, there is nothing to connect it to a computer. And the reason why is this is a standalone machine. They do have over here a place for you to put a USB drive, and that's how, if you do want to design with their Canvas program, how you would use a computer, which I'll show you later on that. Alright, with the box also comes your box of accessories and 2 mats. They actually give you 2 mats, which is nice. You have a low tack mat, which you would use for probably your sewing patterns or your quilt patterns, and then you have your standard mat. And the way that you would depict the two is the standard mat is purple on the bottom and the low tack is blue on the bottom. Then in your box here, you get a couple of different things. They give you a test here for fabric applique contact sheet, so you can actually practice with fabric. They give you a little pouch here, and in the pouch you have a plastic scraper or a spatula. I will let you know I'm not wild about the plastic spatula. I tried using it and I ended up going to my metal spatula right away. They also give you a little stylus, and that is because on the Brother Scan and Cut you do have this here to use. And let's go and lower that. And so you have this to use here. So they do give this to you. You also have your standard blade, which is your teal, and then your purple deep cut blade for your heavier materials. So that all comes in the box for your accessories. Now once again, if you were to get the purple or light blue machines, you would have more accessories. So you would be getting the pen holders, additional mats. Then you also get a whole bunch of brochures. You get a quick reference guide. This is a really cool guide because it tells you exactly all of your paper, fabric, and other materials. It's going to tell you what mat to use. It's going to tell you the blade. It's going to tell you if you need a sheet, the blade settings, cut pressures. So this is a great quick reference guide, and it tells you how to install your blade, how to adjust your cut pressure. So I would have this in a nice area that you could quickly get it. Your operation manual, which is pretty in-depth, so it's a pretty easy to use machine, but I would have this ready to go just in case you have some questions. You have a basic quilting guide, which I'm not a quilter, so I haven't really looked at this. And then they give you, of course, everything in Spanish. And then they give you, which I really like, a pattern list. So this machine comes installed with patterns on it. And they really hit home with this, that this is a standalone machine and you do not have to buy cartridges. It's a cartridge-free machine. The funny thing is if you go on Amazon, they sell USB drives with patterns on it. So yes, it's a cartridge-free machine, but we have USB drives that you can buy for it. So I thought that was kind of funny, and just my little review on that. But anyways, you do have some patterns on here. You have your basic pattern shapes. You have some flowers and some fruits and animals. Holidays. You have some tags. They give you 5 basic fonts, borders. Then you have your quilting patterns. And those are already pre-installed in the machine, which we'll show you. And once again, you can go on Amazon and buy additional patterns that come on a little USB drive. You would stick that in the USB slot over here and it would install it on the machine. So once again, like I said, their claim to fame with this is it's standalone, it's cartridge free, but it's kind of confusing because you can buy USB drives to install more patterns on the machine. So that was a little confusing for me that was their claim to fame, but they're saying that you can install more onto it. So that's what comes with the machine. So I'm going to show you now how we turn on the machine and do the basic install. So it's pretty easy. First thing we're going to do is open this shield. The blade, whatever blade setting, it's really easy. All you have to do is turn it to whatever blade setting of material. So basic cardstock is at 6. All you do is you drop it into the blade holder here, and this little thing you push down. And then all you need to do to turn it on is there's this on button here. And it's going to go to this scan and cut, and it's going to keep going through this menu here, and you're going to see it doing this little scan thing here. And you can either keep watching this, it's kind of its demo mode, or you can actually hit the home here. And it will say the carriage and mat will move to the initial position. Keep your hands away from the carriage and just hit OK. So now it's at its initial position, and at this point we can now go ahead and do our first cut. And let's go ahead and do that. The feature I want to show you is the feature that I bought this machine for, and it's the scan and cut, because it's called the Brother Scan and Cut. So we're going to be using the standard mat, and I'm going to be cutting out the flowers. And so let's go ahead and use this. Now, the mats, I will tell you right now, I do not like their mats. They are not sticky at all. I'm just not a big fan of them. So I will tell you, if you get these mats, you might need to buy some tape to hold them down. The weird thing is after it cuts, it is sticky. It's very weird. I don't know how to explain it, but as you can see, it's not. I'll adhere this down and pick it up and show you what I mean. So when you pick it up, it pops right up. See, it's not very sticky compared to Silhouette and Cricut mats. However, once it cuts, it gets pretty sticky, so I don't know. It's very weird. Okay, so once you have it down, and just push them real hard, because like I said, they're not very sticky. It's pretty simple. What you do is you put your mat here, and there is a little button here that looks like a mat with little squares on it, and we're just going to push that in. And there is a scan function. We're going to hit scan. Now it's going to ask you, do you want to do a direct cut, scan to cut data, or scan to USB? And the big difference is direct cut means it's going to scan it and direct cut it. Scan to cut data means it's going to scan and then it's going to give you the option to cut it or change it. Or scan to USB is going to scan it and save it to your USB drive. And I think we are going to do a direct cut for this first one. So it's going to scan it. It is a little bit of a loud machine. and then it's going to recognize it right there. And depending on how complicated it is, it can take a while. So as you can see, it recognized all of the flowers, so we're gonna hit OK. And then what it does is it basically draws an outline around what it saw. Now, here's my experience with this. I've done a lot of scanning, and it picks up very defined shapes. Now, I have had it be very finicky around things that don't have a very defined shape or very dark black lines. So just keep that in mind. At this point, on the direct cut, we could actually move this. So if we wanted to just do it on a certain amount of flowers, you can move your box, it's going to process, and then just use that. So if you wanted to cut only, let's say, these flowers, you definitely could do that. Your other options here is you have this, which is this little circle, and this is actually changes the outline around the flower. So I can move my outline around the flower. So if I wanted to make sure I don't have, if I wanted a little bit of the white edge around that, I could do that. The other thing here is I could change the shape. So right now it's obviously going around the flower. If I wanted to do a circle, I could do that. Or if I wanted to do that, you could do a star, a square. So obviously we want to keep it around it because it's that. So this is really the only function I have on this one because this is a direct cut. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit OK. So now at this point I could either draw or cut. So I'm just going to do a cut. So once I've hit cut, I'm going to hit start. So it's finished cutting. Now keep in mind, we just had to cut a certain part of this. We could have cut the whole sheet, but for time's sake, we didn't. We're just gonna hit OK. And we're just going to hit unload. Now one thing I do want to keep in mind is, the one thing on this machine you need to keep in mind is because it is a scanning machine, you have to have a lot of space in the back. So mine constantly goes up above here, so keep that in mind when using this machine. It requires a lot of space in the back. So now we can go ahead and remove this from the mat. Alright, and I'm going to show you, this is what they give you for this, and it works alright. It's just not my favorite. So the cutting is not bad. So as you can see, there's not a lot of white around it. Now I'm going to show you another feature where we can actually cut inside these flowers, but this was just that direct cut. We'll show you in the next feature. So here's just a couple on this direct cut. So if you're using this machine because you have a lot of paper and you want to cut off, you know, direct images off of the paper, it's a great machine for that, if that's what you're going to be using it for. And I've had great success for that purpose, you know, sticking one of my 12 by 12 papers in there and cutting, you know, a favorite design off there. It cannot be a very busy paper, it's got to be a very basic paper, but it does great on that. So that is a direct cut. Let's go ahead and go to the next one and show you the next option. So I already have the mat loaded. This time we're using the same pattern paper. We did the direct cut last time, so this time we're doing this scan to cut data. So we're gonna hit start to scan the sheet. Now remember, like I said, you wanna make sure you have a lot of room back here because it's scanning this entire sheet, and as you can see, I have this in the back, so it's going to curve right up. And it's going to recognize, and depending on how complicated your pattern is, it can take a while to recognize. So there it is. Now I did want to mention, before we go into here, the mats down here. Once again, I'm not a fan of these mats. As you can see, it's already pulling up just from scanning it. I mean, and this is a new mat, so they're just not, I'm just not a fan of them right now. So now as you can see, the screen is, we have different options on the screen. So we have this. Now this option here is going to give us what we had last time. It's just going to put an outline around the flowers. That's it. We have this option, which is going to cut the outline of the flowers and the little circle in there. Then we have this option, which on this one here, it's hard to see, but it's actually going to cut the outlines, and then if you had overlapping, it would cut everything. So the big difference is we're going to go with this option just because I want to show you. This one here, it's going to cut the flowers and cut the circles inside of the flowers. So on this one, when we hit save, what it's going to do is it's going to ask us, do we want to save this to our scan and cut, or do we want to save it to a USB drive? I'm going to go ahead and save it to my scan and cut. So that's the difference between the first option and the second option. The first option is just a direct cut, where this one we save it to the machine. So I hit OK, and then I can actually hit home now. We can hit there and say, okay, we're going to delete the patterns because we already hit home. Now we can go into patterns, save data, go into my machine here, and there is that saved option. So it's all those flowers I saved. So if I hit OK, now we have more options in here. We can change around some stuff. We can select all the patterns. I can select them all. I can move stuff around if I wanted to. So as you can see, you can go to all the by hitting these arrows, it actually moves to each of the different patterns. You can change the width of it. This pattern here is if you're making a sewing pattern and you need the seams. This is mirroring, so if you want to mirror that item. This is rotating, and then this is if you want to change you're changing the ratio and you want to turn the ratio off. So if you wanted to change the size of this flower, but you didn't want to keep the ratio of the width and height, that's how you turn that off. So this is all advanced features. So basically we don't want to change anything, we just want to cut this, but this is your advanced features menu. This here is just basically your patterns window. You can actually select all of your patterns. So I'll do a video more in depth of this. This is just once again testing your cut patterns. So let's go ahead and cut this and see how it cuts all of these flowers with the circles out. So we're going to select cut and start. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit OK. We're going to go ahead and unload the mat. And now, as you can see, and I haven't played with enough, it doesn't sometimes recognize to do it along the edges here. And so you'll get the cut along here, and on the screen you'll see here what I mean. It doesn't draw a line here. And I need to go into some Facebook groups to figure out what I'm doing wrong. It also didn't recognize some of the flowers. So I need to figure out what I'm doing, because it got most of the flowers, but like it missed the yellow and the green. I don't know if it's just because it's too light, and then it doesn't recognize on the edges here. So it's definitely not a perfect machine. However, when it does do cuts, as you can see on paper, it does a pretty good job. So on these ones, in the center of the flower, as you can see, because of the scanning, it knows exactly where to cut, and it does a beautiful job. So once again, if you're using this machine only to scan your paper, because you want to get your paper cuts, and you have a lot of paper that you're trying to get intricate cuts, it would be perfect for that. In all my tests, it does a pretty good job, and I'm going to do a couple more test cuts for you in this video on the paper video on cutting perfect on paper. So for the scanning and cutting, what this machine I think was made for, brilliant job. So I for the most part get beautiful cuts. In my later videos, I'm going to do a video for you guys on stamping, and then their software program, which is their Canvas program with doing SVGs. That's where I was starting to have some more issues with this machine. However, this part of the machine, it does, as you can see, very, very good. So let me go ahead and clear off the mat, and then I will go ahead and get some more test cuts for you guys. So I did a whole bunch of test cuts, and now keep in mind I'm just getting used to this machine, so I have a lot of tinkering to do and learning. However, what I've noticed right off the bat in this first video on the paper is it's very finicky. So I could not get this machine to recognize this, and the reason why is when I scanned it, it recognized everything that was dark, but anything that was white it did not recognize. So it wanted to cut the house, it wanted to cut the gumdrops, but I could not get it to cut around the entire building. It recognized the tree, didn't recognize this building at all, which I thought it would because it had no white. And I scanned this probably 4 different times. I tried darkening it, but I could not get any of these to cut. So it was not a good scan. It was kind of disappointing because that would have been a awesome ability of this machine would be for this to work. But no matter what I tried to do, I could not get it to work. The next thing that could not work for me was this guy. I tried to cut him out. I even tried to isolate him and cut this out, and I figured he would absolutely show up because he is black. So I figured the Brother Scan and Cut would absolutely register him, but I could not get the Brother Scan and Cut to register him. No matter what I did, I could not get him. I got some of the snowflakes to register. Once again, I even cut a piece out to isolate it. The Brother Scan and Cut registered just this one. It could not register these two. I'm not sure why. But when it did cut, it did a great job. So it's kind of frustrating because when the machine does register it and cut it, it does a fantastic job, but you find yourself, at least I did, scanning something over and over again. I scanned this in, probably wanting good results, but as you can see, I didn't even try to cut it. It was way too complicated. It only picked up 10% of it. I just wanted to see if it would do it. I didn't even try to even attempt to cut it. It was just way too complicated. Didn't even see half of it. So now what did the machine do well? The first thing it did well on was this pattern. I've noticed with the machine, anything that has a black outline, it does amazing. It picked up every single one of these, and then when it cut, as you can see, I mean, it did brilliantly. And look at these cuts, dead on. Amazing cuts. You couldn't ask for a better cut. I mean, it was right on. So I noticed in my cuts, and I did a whole bunch of cuts that had dark black outlines. It registered every single one. So if you are scanning something that just has amazing black or dark outlines on a light colored paper, it's absolutely going to register it every single time. And then when it cuts it, it's amazing. I mean, you can see on here, there's no black. It cut it perfectly. So it registered every single one of these. So I would absolutely say on something like this pattern paper, it does a beautiful job. It's just, you have to have this dark outline. The other thing it did well, and this was partial success, something like this that has a defined outline. As you can see, here is a, right there, did beautifully. There's no white along those edges. That I cut right there from there. Once again though, it only registered my dark items. So it registered these items that were dark. Any of my light colored items, like this light blue, this here, this little bird up here, even this light green here, it didn't register it. I darkened it, I tried everything, but it didn't register it. And I don't know if it's because it's a lighter background, I'm not sure. And it could definitely be user error, I'm not sure. It's a new machine to me, but I could not get it to register. And it's very discouraging because this would be a great machine for something like this. You know, this is something we get in every single paper pack, and you know, we find ourselves having to cut these out by hand because that's the only way, or scanning it in and using another competitor machine. But if we could get this to work every single time, how amazing, because look at that cut. It's pristine, it's beautiful. So hopefully, using the machine more, I can find out, or going into groups and finding out what I might be doing wrong, I can figure out how to get this to work, because I could not get all of this to register. So hopefully, in using it more, I'll be able to do that. Because as you can see, when it works, it's beautiful. Alright everyone, thanks for watching the video on the Brother Scan and Cut unboxing and how it cuts on the scanning of the paper and cutting of the paper. My first impressions of the machine is it cuts very well, and when it does work, it is pretty amazing. However, I did only get it to register the paper half of the time, and some of the paper that I thought it would have no problem registering, it didn't even register at all. Now, it might be user error, however, I really thought Brother Scan and Cut with most of their machines would have been a lot more user-friendly. So I really wanted to show you guys that right out of the box, this machine did not live up to my expectations. However, hopefully with continued use, it will be a little bit easier. Alright, so make sure you guys are checking out the next video in the series, which will revolve around stamping. I'm really excited. A lot of people use this machine to stamp and cut, and it has been a huge success for that. Make sure you guys are checking out my blog over at www.creativeken.blogspot.com. Make sure you're subscribing to this YouTube channel to make sure you get all of my videos that are coming out soon around the Brother Scan and Cut and all of the machines. Make sure you're checking out my Twitter page, my Facebook page. Make sure you're checking out Ken's Kreations all over the internet. And thanks for watching this amazing video. If you like it, make sure to give it 2 thumbs up, leave me tons of comments, tell me what you loved about it, give me any feedback. I'm open to all sorts of feedback, I love it. So thanks for watching, and make sure to go out there and create something magical. You guys have an amazing day. Thanks so much.